Jeff, how are you, my friend? What a story, huh?
Unbelievable and very well deserving, I think. He said all the right things, and to my anticipation, he thanked his coaching staff, he thanked his players before taking any of the credit himself, and I think that that's a really smart thing. It's a team award, even though it's an individual manager award for Murph.
Yeah, 27 out of the 30 potential votes for manager of the year. It's voted on by whom again? Who gets to vote?
It's players, coaches, AP writers. It's everybody.
Right. Oh, it is.
Yeah.
So players, coaches, and writers. So when he says it's an honor to be voted on this by my peers, he's including the media?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, it's very nice of him.
Media's got votes. I mean, it's pretty great. They do a great job. And then you got it right.
Well, he's always embraced the media too. Like, it's not like he's kept, far away. Like,
no, I know that
he's open. He's shared so many stories, those sorts of things. It's been
right.
The way he's handled.
I'll tell you this about Murph too. Every time he goes into a manager's meeting, and there's a new face and somebody that he doesn't know, he always makes sure to introduce them. He says, "Hey, what's your name? Where are you from? What do you do?" He always makes sure that he knows everybody in the room when he's talking to them. So
that was the most nervous I have ever been in a presser. I mean, obviously, we're the ones supposed to ask the questions. He goes, "Hey, where are you?"
New guy. What do you got? Introduce yourself. Who do you work with? What's your story?
I'm Andrew Ludwig. I work for 97.3 The Game.
And I need a new clean pair of shorts.
Yeah. So what's his contract status? How many year deal did he sign?
I want to say it was a 3-year deal, but the Brewers are very, very tight-lipped on what the terms of contracts are and what the length of their contracts are with their coaching staff. I want to say
so it's only rumored, reported, whispered. Nobody knows for sure, right?
Yep.
That is such a strange thing. Who was the guy recently that they were like, "Oh, he's got another year left on his deal"? That they thought this was going to be the last season. What coach was it that they just found this out about? I think it was an NFL coach that they were like, "Oh, wait a minute,
wasn't it Eberflus?"
Yeah, Eberflus.
Yes, it was the Flus. Yeah, they were like, they thought he was going to his last year. Why levering our coaches' contracts not public knowledge? Like, you would think that'd be important to know.
Yeah, I think so. And I'm sure there's a website that has all this information available. I just haven't gone sleuthing for it.
I don't think there is my point. I think the fact that sometimes it leaks out way later that Eberflus has another year means they keep him so tight that nobody for sure knows, because there's no union that requires the publication of the contracts. At least when it comes to players, there's a salary cap that's public, and everyone needs to see the numbers, but not for coaches.
Right. Yeah. It seems kind of backwards, doesn't it? You'd like to know who's under contract. In the baseball world, you got so many different assistant coaches too. You'd like to know who's going to be there for a while, but it's just not the case. Not the case. Just ride the wave.
So we don't have to. So we don't have to worry about Murph. Yeah, we don't have to worry about Murph going anywhere. He's not going anywhere anytime soon.
I don't think so. Good. I think he's pretty darn happy where he is.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about this Willy Adames qualifying offer. Deadline came yesterday. He turned it down, obviously, because he's going to get a lot of money. This is actually good for the Brewers because this is the first time they've offered the top tier qualifying offer, which means when he leaves, we'll get a draft pick. That's pretty sweet. Is that how it works?
Yeah, and if he signs for over $50 million, then it is an even bigger draft pick that's associated with it. So
let's go.
Yeah, right. So, I mean, you'd love to keep Willy Adames. You'd love to make something work, but he was not going to accept that qualifying offer for 1 year. And I know Nick Martinez did it with the Cincinnati Reds. It's kind of a crapshoot if you're a pitcher. Fine, you get your 1 year deal and you max out on what your dollars are going to be. And for a pitcher, it's probably a better deal. But if you're a position player, you know you're the Willy Adames of the world, you're going to get more than what was on the table there for that 1 year on the qualifying offer. So it works out well for the Brewers.
When you look at the kind of off season, we're talking Willie, but what other moves do you think the Brewers are going to look at?
I think I think you look at if Willie moves on, you look at the shortstop position, and that also turns into third base. Because if you're looking at short, does Joey Ortiz slide over, and does he become your everyday shortstop? Does he stay at third base, or do you bring in a shortstop to complement? Do you move Bryce Terang? I think Bryce Terang stays at second base. I mean, you just won a platinum glove. Why would you want to move him right now? I think those are your moves. You're always trying to fortify your starting pitching. I think the Brewers are going to be in that market. They'll probably be in the market for some bullpen. Just signed a kid, Davey Cruz, who's got just super high upside with his arm. Put him in the Brewers pitching lab, and who knows, maybe he's your next closer of the future. But they'll be in the market for starters, and I think the left side of the infield is what they're going to be looking at the most.
Yeah,
is a good fielding shortstop greater sign a good fielding second baseman from a pure baseball perspective, or are both positions equal?
I think there are more balls to the left side of the infield. There's more right-handed hitters more often than not. So having a really good fielding shortstop is important. But what we've learned in this no shift restriction type of situation now, you have to have a really good second baseman. That's where your athletes really come into play. You can't throw Travis Shaw out there or Mike Moustakas at second base anymore because you're playing in the shift. You got to have a dude who can go out there and go pick it like a Bryce Terang. So your middle infield defense has to be really shoring up, and the Brewers have had that for the last couple of years.
And you would not mess around with Terang at second?
I would not. I mean, he is elite at second base. While he would probably be a fantastic shortstop, his second base defense is second to none.
Right. All right. The hot stove is going on right now, Jeff, in which any team could on any player.
It's sizzling.
Yeah. It's not sizzling. That's the problem. This is the hot stove now in baseball is one of those rental apartment electric stoves that take forever to get the heating element up and running. Why is that? And is it good, bad, or neutral for baseball that we don't have right out of the gate, pa-pow, Sosa's signed, pa-pow, Alex Bregman signed? What do you think?
I think that it is a slow burn, but people are talking about it. I mean, the biggest domino is going to be Juan Soto. And as soon as Juan Soto signs, I think all the other pieces fall into place. But that's going to be such a big contract for whoever signs it. And you got the winter meetings that are coming up. So I think a lot of conversations are going to take place there. You're going to see a lot of signings that happen in that realm because you're having face-to-face meetings. Well, I think a lot of those preliminary conversations happened during the GM meetings a couple weeks ago. Right. Those are just continuing on right now. The NFL and the NBA, when you have your signing day, a lot of those things are put into place beforehand, right? And they're just not inked on paper, right? Agents and GMs have these deals that are done, and then it turns midnight and it's okay, boom, done. Pen is on paper. I kind of like the fact that not everybody signs on one day. Then you have some news that continues to trickle out over the course of the offseason, and it builds more drama, in my opinion.
Well, one thing that I find interesting is that you've got teams trying to figure out how much to pay these premium players, and yet the revenue landscape is changing so dramatically. I saw where apparently now Manfred wants to pretty much gobble up all television rights for every team in baseball and then get a more organized way of doling them out in a variety of streaming, over-the-air, and sort of a la carte pay-per-view packages. Like, this is going to upend the whole RSN revenue model as we've known it for the last 20 years. And if I'm an owner, I wouldn't be looking at it like we're going to be making more money under this new scenario. I can't see it as more.
It is,
you?
Yeah, and it's a really interesting dynamic. And the Brewers are locked into this thing too, where you've heard all of the news about the Brewers are going to be on MLB.TV. Major League Baseball is going to be producing the games, and I think it's a good thing. And for Major League and for the Brewers' sake, you can control what you're pushing out there, right? You can do a number of different things. You can do You can do specific pre and post game shows on your website. You can do your own content, and the Brewers have such a great content crew. You know, everything they push out on social media looks so good, like it's almost a documentary style stuff. You could do more of that, which is great. So you can have more content that's produced by yourself. The biggest thing is for Mabel up in Rice Lake who wants to watch the game. How could I find the game? That's what needs to be figured out. The easiest way. We could talk about other teams that have their own networks in these big deals, the Dodgers, the Yankees, the Red Sox, even the Cubs with Marquee. They are going to be hard pressed to go into the Major League Baseball hood and walk away from those potential television deals and that money. There would have to be some sort of other agreement for them. But the biggest thing is, how can I find these games? How can I watch them in the easiest possible way? And if I'm in the team's market, I don't want to be blacked out from these games. That at the end of the day is what Rob Manfred wants to get rid of, is the blackouts. He wants to make sure people can watch.
Jim, I want to pivot here a little bit. You've got Wisconsin, Nebraska, big game for both programs this weekend.
Did you call him Jim?
No.
He said Jeff. It was just quick.
Just quick.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Just trying. Sorry.
Saw Jeff a couple of days ago. That being said, a huge football game for both programs. A lot of changes. Both teams have new offensive coordinators. What's your breakdown of it as you start to kind of dive into this game a little bit?
I have a feeling this is going to be a 14-13 game. It just has that feel to it. We still don't know who's going to call plays for Wisconsin. We know who's going to call plays for Nebraska. They have at least a week head start on what's going on. We do have a Zoom with Coach Fickle and the defensive coordinator and the offensive line coach coming up in a couple hours. But it's going to be really interesting. I will say this, that when our crew had the Badgers, they went 3-0, and they haven't won a game since then. So you're
the lucky guy for it. Okay, all right.
I'm just saying they like talking to us on the Zooms. So let's hope that they can get their offense going. Nebraska's it's a tough place to go and win, but as long as they've been playing for the Freedom Trophy, Wisconsin's never lost. So let's if you're a Badger fan, you're hoping that's going to stay true. But it's going to look different. I see this thing being a defensive struggle, and if the Badgers can play defense the way that they did against Oregon, then they're going to be fine.
Got a chance.
All right. Paul on the talking text line says, "Is Jeff drinking a Slurpee right now?" No, Jeff is enjoying his morning cup of Joe.
Got my coffee
big old
going.
Sip right there.
Little black and
Jeff
tan going.
Or Jim. I could have sworn you called him Jim there. I think you are punch drunk from a lack of sleep, and you called him Jim by accident, which is okay. But he covered you by saying no, it was Jeff.
Yeah, go ahead.
Funny story about that. Our traveling secretary, Dan Larea, who just an amazing human being. He's been with the Brewers forever. I interviewed him for a pregame show like 6 years ago when the Brewers had 17 different playoff scenarios that they were going to go on, and he had to have all the hotel rooms and travel booked and all that stuff. Figured he was a good guy to talk to. Opening question, I asked him what it was. He goes, "Yeah, Jim," and I clipped it off. And I always send it to him just as a reminder, just because it's funny.
Right. You got to rescue people when they mess up your name. You don't want to leave them socially
I did not
isolated.
call Jeff Jim.
No, and that's okay. My middle name is James, so it's not too far.
Jeff Jim jumping, not the Jim jumping. It's my Sesame Street coming through. All right, Mr. Levering, have a great call. Wisconsin versus Nebraska. You know the stat by now, I'm sure, in your research, that Nebraska is 0 for their last 9 attempts to get bowl eligible. Mm-hmm. Oh, my God, the humanity.
Yeah, it's going to be tense in Lincoln. Tense.
Yeah, and this is a huge one for Wisconsin with a new coordinator calling plays, or at least a group of offensive coaches saying, how about a screen? Okay, good idea. Show me screen. Loss of 4.
Survey says.
Who called that? It'd be like a game of Family Feud. No, I think it'd do fine. It's just football. Yeah. All right, Jeff, is always a pleasure, my friend. Thank you, sir.
You got it. Take it easy. Have a great week. Happy Thanksgiving a week early.
Yes, indeed, a week early. Jeff Levering, who is off to do Nebraska, Wisconsin this coming Saturday. Coming up, Aaron Nagler. He knows
left. Does he get the feet down? He is. Touchdown.
Don't forget about Bo. Niners did on that January night a year ago. He was wide open. Love damn near missed him, but a great little tap. Touchdown, Packers. And then the game went badly. We won't talk about the rest of that. The Niners are back in town this week. And I am ready, Aaron Nagler, for the Packers to really plunge a big one. Big old dagger in this franchise. They're reeling right now, aren't they? Purdy's hurt. Bosa's hurt. They're 5-5.
They are a bit. They are a bit.
Under siege. I mean, come on now.
I couldn't believe.
Morning?
I'm well, Czabe. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing better than Kyle Shanahan, who I legit saw a no joke. I thought at first it was a parody, but it was from the local NBC affiliate website, a column, an opinion piece. Is Kyle Shanahan on the hot seat?
Oh, yeah.
Where are we living right now? What?
Crazy world.
I mean, first of all, that's absurd. But just the idea that that's out there is just mind-boggling to me.
Well, I'll tell you, he did look like he's aged dramatically.
Well, this season, I'm not surprised.
Last week, I was like, whoa, my goodness, it's been that rough, huh?
Father Time has said, what's up?
Yeah.
What's up,
whoa.
We'll get into it. As always, Mr. Nagler brought to you, as all of our insiders are, Packer Insiders, by Rogers Behavioral Health, Hildebrand Law, the great taste of Miller Lite, and Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference. Now, Butchie hates fan-driven all 22 content on the web.
The worst.
Because he believes that fans are not qualified to even look at the all 22.
No, I don't believe it. They are not qualified.
Like working on your own automobile with the owner's manual in your garage, which my dad used to do when I was a teenager.
Sure, man.
Of course, cars were a lot simpler back then, and he could actually fix things.
There were no computers involved. Yes.
Correct. That exactly right. Or there was limited computers. So I saw, however, an all 22 piece of content that I forwarded to you, Butchie, not to you, Nagler. You might have seen it, in which some fan, I don't know if he ever played football or not, but he sounded convincing, that explained part of the Niners' problem is part of the Niners' problem is Kyle Shanahan does not believe in allowing his QBs to change protections at the line of scrimmage.
Oh, this is a hot button issue in San Francisco right now. I know that. That I know.
Okay, so that has been reported, and that is considered to be true. That the way Kyle's offense works is I've got hot read outs as blitz beaters, but I don't want you moving this guy.
And here's the thing, tons of can plays as well, where they get up, they have two plays called in the huddle. Whatever the defense presents, the quarterback has the option of saying, okay, we're sticking with A, or can, we're going to the other major part of their offense.
Right. The fan then, Butchie, went through example after example of plays in which easily Purdy could have shifted protection to give him a little bit more time, and instead had to go to a hot read out that turned out to be a yardage loser, if not just a null play. You're telling me that content, Brian, was not informative in any way, shape, or form, that guy had no business doing that?
Correct, yes. Absolutely.
Okay, then. Well,
I love it. I mean, look,
I found it interesting.
Look,
I didn't take it, Nags. I didn't take it as gospel. I found it.
But look, like it's real easy to sit here and say, well, he can do this like it's Madden, right? But you don't know what the mechanisms are inside the offense itself. We have no idea what they're being coached or not coached to do. And this idea that, he could have just done this, man, it is not Madden. Like there are a million things that lead up to the moment where that play is run, as far as not only the mechanisms within the play itself, but why it's being run in a certain situation. They have reams of data that tell them on 3rd and 2 on the left hash, this is the type of coverage they have used 70% of the time. And if we run XYZ, where you should be able to take advantage. Like there's a whole world that exists that fans have zero concept of, let alone access to. So it's like I get in the moment, like in the heat of the game, I will certainly say, I hate that play call. Like that's right. I get that. That's fanning. I get it. Right. But then to go back and make an academic exercise of something, again, that you have no intimate or real knowledge about as far as what they're being asked to do. And I get there's football, right? The people have played football. They've at certain levels. Like I get there's knowledge out there, but you
Yes.
don't know what Kyle's asking these guys to do. You know, we have no clue as the general public. So that's I get a little reticent on that kind of thing.
All right. So when it comes to non-division rivals, putting the Bears and the Vikings aside,
Sure. Right.
If I was to ask you a Michael Scott question of if Toby Flenderson, the Seahawks, the Niners, and the Cowboys were in the room,
Right,
and you only had 3 bullets, who would you shoot? Like, who do you hate more, the Seahawks or the Niners? Who do you want to see the Packers send reeling more as a non-division rival?
Yeah, it's got to be the 49ers at this point, simply because of all the recent history. But I will say, like, I don't hate them the way I hate the Cowboys. I mean, I love the Cowboys, but that's an age thing, right? Because I lived through the 90s where we couldn't beat the Cowboys. And then, you know, I remember going to San Francisco and whooping up on the 49ers. I remember Mariucci getting the job, and he had a quote where he said the very first thing I thought was, how are we going to beat the Packers? Because we own them, right? So that's
even
all
the recent
run, you know.
Yeah, even the recent run against the Cowboys has not been enough to slake
your
thirst.
Dude, I will never. There is not a moment, and watching them absolutely completely fall apart this season has been absolutely joyous. I have.
You don't feel bad for
enjoyed
Big
every
Mike a
second
little
of it.
bit?
Not a moment. Not even an iota. Nope.
Okay.
Look, he went and worked for Jerry Jones.
He took the job.
He took the gig, man.
He took the job. What did you expect
Look,
was going to happen?
I like Mike. I think he's a good coach. I think, you know, a lot of this is not his fault, but
I was just going to say, I feel bad for him.
He's working for
a lot
Jerry
of it's
Jones.
not his spot. That being said, he's still getting them. Like, I don't feel bad. He's getting paid. Last time I
he's
checked,
getting
still getting
PAID
paid.
paid. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, like, but I just, in general.
I mean, he's got to dodge falling metal and everything, but, you know, he's getting paid. So it's good.
Well, and I mean, the thing is that, like, when this all fell apart, you know, Rodgers and all this others, like, I mean, we've kind of seen what Aaron,
you think,
has become, right? Like,
it's interesting, isn't it?
So as much as everybody wants to blame Big Mike, like, pretty sure he had success in Dallas.
McCarthy was always demonized way too much.
Yeah,
everything that happened along the way.
Absolutely,
no doubt.
Right,
no
but
question.
you don't feel sorry. It's you should look up, Butchie, the fable of the scorpion and the frog. The scorpion needs a ride across the river, and the frog says, "Go ahead, hop on my back. Promise not to sting me." And then by the time he's halfway across, the scorpion stings him, and he's like, "Sorry, what do you expect? I'm a scorpion."
I'm a scorpion.
You know, McCarthy took the job in Dallas under Jarrett. This was bound to happen at some point.
No doubt.
And Aaron Rodgers went to the Jets, which is like jumping into an open sewer hole in the middle of the street.
Yeah.
Duh.
God,
Bad
Jets.
franchise, clown owner.
Amazing.
What did you think was going to happen?
And that athletic report overnight that Woody Johnson legit sat everyone down and said, we need to bench Rodgers after the Broncos game. That's like 4 games into the season.
Right. And the Broncos D is one of the best in the league.
Oh my God. That's amazing.
It's crazy.
That's amazing.
So as I assume you've now, I need the full recap of the masterclass meme. Who said masterclass?
Joe Douglas masterclass.
Okay, where did that come from?
As far as I remember, Tyler Herrick, our social guy, is the first one to put that out there. I don't know if that's accurate, but that's the first time I saw it and it really gained traction. And anytime and every time the Jets would do something stupid, and they do provide you lots of opportunities to watch them do something stupid, he would continuously memeify or have GIFs or whatever. We had a short video, Joe Douglas masterclass. So my tweet yesterday, when the news broke that he'd been fired, was masterclass complete. Here we are.
So it wasn't McAfee or Rodgers or anyone in the New York media that dubbed it a quote masterclass.
Not that I know of. I think it was always in jest. It was always kind of, you know, we weren't playing on someone actually thinking he was doing anything masterful.
Who was the clown that tweeted the Jets had all the leverage?
Oh, there were 4 billion of them. Come on.
There was a good amount.
No, but the one guy that you retweeted had a lot of media outlets that he wrote for. One of them was The Athletic. So he was a guy who covers the NFL professionally at some level and had the most wildly out of tune take as to what the dynamic was at the time.
Zabe, can I let you know? Last night I was headed into the city. My oldest daughter and I were going to see a preview screening of Wicked. And as I'm sitting on the subway, I'm just like biding my time. And I literally thought exactly what you're talking about. Like, remember all the people who thought the Jets had all the leverage. And I just went and did a search on Twitter, and just, as I'm finding them, I'm just laughing out loud on the subway to myself. And I just started retweeting them all, because I'm like, you people all gave Brian Gutekunst all this hell, and he absolutely wiped the floor with Joe Douglas in that trade. It's hilarious.
Well, as soon as the Jets got on that plane to go see Rodgers,
it was over. It was over.
He didn't have
1 billion % correct.
Like,
Yes.
this is the fall guy, but Joe Douglas didn't have a chance. They played all their cards. They put it out,
correct.
said, we're going to go get on this plane without a deal done.
Yep. It was over.
That's stupid.
It was over. Then Brian just needed to wait.
Yeah. Absolutely. He knew what it was. They had gone out. They had done what they've done. Joe Douglas was like, what do you expect me to do?
Yeah, exactly. What are you going to?
According to the Rossini story in The Athletic, it was Woody who fired Saleh without consulting anyone, blocked the Bryce Huff extension, denied Lazard and a day 2 pick to trade for Jerry Jeudy, refused to negotiate Hassan Reddick's extension demands, pushed for the Devontae trade, as well as Tyron Smith and Mike Williams. And nobody really wanted those guys because they thought they were injured and past their prime. Benched Tony Adams against the staff's wishes, and also floated out there, maybe we should bench Rodgers. An absolute
amazing. I mean, there's a piece in one of the local New York magazines or newspapers or whatever they call it these days, talking about how he is taking the mantle of the worst sports owner ever in the history of New York. And at first I was like, that's impossible, right? But they went down the list, and I'm like, I never thought I'd see the day where Dolan gets the mantle stolen from him, but I think he's there.
It's close.
I think he's there. But with the Knicks and Rangers right now, there's actual hope for the first time in 2 decades, but there's hope.
Tibbs.
There's no hope with the Jets. Sure. There's no
Dolan
hope.
Dolan is a vindictive menace.
Yes.
But at least he has some smarts to him. He is the guy behind the Sphere. And they've got licenses for building these all over the world, and it's a brilliant concept. So he's got something going on up there. Yeah. Woody is just a trust fund kid who's running a rampant right now with this.
He was born running into home plate thinking he hit a home run. Yeah.
Right, exactly. I'm going to find the guy that tweeted this because it was really, really out of touch with things. Let's focus on the Packers for a second here. And as sweet as it was to see the Bears lose that way, and I'm sure you've gorged on all your Bear fan reaction videos this week.
Oh, dude, how good is the TikTok algorithm? I can't move for some kind of Bears fan meltdown. Good. It's so amazing.
The best part was Sunday night because
God, dude. Ding, 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 how do these people in China know exactly what to feed me? That's what I want to know. That's amazing. It's so well done.
You're not that hard to figure.
I'm a mystery, Butch. No one knows.
Did you watch what was the documentary on how social media works called not the Social Network? That was the
the film by David Fincher. Yeah.
Right. It was the documentary on how it works.
I think I know which one you're talking about. It was on Netflix, and there was a deep dive into the serotonin of it all, but I can't remember what it's called.
Right, but basically, when you stop, Butchie, to even look at a video for 5-10 seconds,
you're in it.
The algorithm knows you're stopping to look. And if you click on it, now you're engaged, and that weights it. And so it knows. So when you sit and watch these Bear fan reaction
oh my God, it's so good.
The algorithm's like, send him more of that. He likes that content. and it finds them and it shovels them to you, and they keep coming, and I can't stop watching it. But let's focus on our team. What's the biggest open fire at the moment that needs to be hit with some water?
Oh, man. Well, the linebacker group in general. And I know Quay Walker has gotten a lot of heat from fans. Rightfully so. I get it. Speaking of film breakdowns, I appreciated your Quay Walker film breakdowns, Abe. That was impressive.
But I might be wrong about it. I mean, I'm open to not knowing what the technique was there. It's just he was literally 2 steps from
Zabe. It only took you Wednesday at 8:39 a.m. for you to come around to my side on this thing.
I'm not on your side. I'm not on your side. I've never heard
of the might as a win from you. Go ahead.
I've never heard of spying a quarterback when you're 2 feet away from him.
Yeah,
either you're spying from a distance or you're tackling him.
Yeah, I saw some of the responses, and I saw your video, and I'm with you. I mean, you're there in the hole. Go tackle the quarterback. Get him on the ground. That is literally the point. Like, if you're a spy,
What
you're
was he being
spying
asked to do?
to make sure that he does not
what was he
run
asked to do?
around.
What was
Get
he being
him on
asked
the
to do?
ground. Get the quarterback on the ground. I guarantee you there's not a play in the Packers defensive playbook that says run up to the quarterback and do jazz hands. I guarantee you that's not in there.
Wow.
Spread legs, hands in the air. I've never seen it, but whatever. It is what it is. They need better production out of Quay, and they need.
But everybody. But this
else
is my
to come
point, though.
along.
And actually, I got a really productive argument with Billy about this yesterday on Carry the G Radio. I think there's no doubt Quay is miscast, right? He is out of position. He should be a weak side backer, but they've got Edrin Cooper, who is the weak side backer and is getting better and better. Although I think he's coming off a rough game too. But they don't have anyone else to play the mic. He's playing 100% of the snaps. Quay Walker would be a fine platoon player. You saw the play, 25 yards down the field, breaking up a pass intended for a wide receiver. That's a really athletic play. That's a good play. Unfortunately, those are few and far between because he's very rarely allowed or asked to do that specific thing because he's playing a traditional mic role. And that is just not his bag. He should not be doing that. I don't know what the reticence is to make a change there, but the whole linebacker group as a whole, with the 49ers coming to town, McCaffrey now back in the mix, they get off the bus trying to run the football. That's scary. That if there's one area of concern, if there's only one, that is the one.
All right. You were a theater kid in high school who also played football.
Correct.
And you talked about taking your daughter to go see the movie screening of Wicked.
Correct.
Which is going to be a monster hit. My daughter's excited.
It's going to make $1 billion.
I was not a theater kid. I occasionally played in the orchestra because I was a drummer. And so I was a band nerd that occasionally got exposed to theater. I did go to Broadway with my family to see the original Wicked in the theater.
Nice.
My takeaway, other than just, holy crap, this is the NFL of theater. This is the big leagues. Like every one of these actors and singers are so talented. They had to fight off a horde of people that wanted this job so bad.
1% of the
All
1%.
the set design is elite. The lighting is elite. The sound is elite. This is the big leagues. It was awesome, right? And also the story of Wicked was I loved it. They're like, somebody thought, what if we created this like alt prequel to the whole story?
It's inventive. It's really fun.
Very creative. It's so multi-layered. Now they're going to make a movie. They've made a movie out of it, which I hear has also twisted the story a little bit. What was your review of it real quick without spoiling anything?
I'll just say it is an incredibly perfect popular entertainment. Like anybody can watch this and have a good time just because the original film Wizard of Oz is so ingrained in our kind of pop psyche. Anybody enjoy this movie and should because it is a phenomenal entertainment. And the two leads, the two women, the head Ariana Grande, the other woman whose name I don't know, my daughters will probably kill me not knowing it, but they are both freaking incredible. They are absolutely insanely good in this movie. It's such a good time.
Who is the better Wicked lead, Idina Menzel or the other gal?
Kristen Chenoweth.
Chenoweth.
I love them both, but I got to go with Idina Menzel because I took a picture with her at the Super Bowl a couple years ago, and my daughters were insanely
Did you really?
jealous. Yeah, she was super sweet and really nice. So I'll go with Idina.
I bet she was just a tiny little pixie.
She is short.
Like you can hold her in your hand, probably. Yeah.
Very short, no doubt.
Butchie, your kids are a little young, probably,
to
really get into Wicked. They will though soon, though. So
no question.
Okay. Well, do you got a good feeling about the Niner game?
I do, actually. I think the Packers do match up well overall. The running game for the 49ers is the major concern, but I think what we saw from Jordan against the Bears, one of the better